Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you see in the title, is gonna be my pregnant at 18 story. I got some soup right here that I just made. It has a whole bunch of veggies in it, some potatoes, some beans. I'm on like a no dairy, no meat diet, and I'm trying to lose this weight for I'm trying to lose this weight because I just had a baby. So let's get started with this video. I don't want to gap up too much. Okay, where should I start? I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start where I was at my life. Growing up, I was very sheltered. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. I had to come straight home from school every day. I wasn't even allowed to go to the mall with my friends or anything normal that, teenagers do. I was very, very, very sheltered. And on top of being sheltered, I was in the house raising my 6 younger brothers and sisters. I have a huge family. I'm a family of 12, so it's pretty good. So when I got home, I would cook dinner, clean the house, help the kids with their homework, take the kids a bath, feed them, play with them, all of the above, everything that a mother would be doing. So, and then on top of that, I was in a very, very, very religious church. So not only that my parents were strict on us, but also strict with the Bible, and every little thing you do is wicked or whatever. So everything combined with how I was being raised in that house, I hated living there. I was in a really, really bad place in my mind to where as though I wanted to commit suicide. I hated living at home. So me and my sister just made this pact to this plan to leave when we were 18, and we were always count the days like, oh my God, we're about to be 18. So this is what happened. When we were 17, my sister graduated high school. She graduated in summer school. I didn't graduate, but she did. And then one day I was at work. I was working at Panera Bread at the time. This is when I was 17. And she called me at work and she was like, let's go. Like, mommy and daddy are crazy. They just kicked Brittany out because my friend Brittany was over for a while. And they were like, they want us to move upstairs so they can supervise us and sleep with the kids because we're madness.
Can I use my gray towel this time?
Yeah, it's fine. Sorry about that. Okay, so blah, 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 whatever it was, that day we decided to leave home. So I get off work and I get home and my parents are away, dropping Brittany off home, and she lived far. So we had a good amount of time to get our shit together, find a ride and all that. So we packed up literally everything we can from our room. And I called my friend BJ at the time. He was this guy I was going to school with, and he had a car, so he came and picked us up. I don't need to tell you guys everything that happened after that, but long story short, I ran away from home. Then, a lot of shit happened. I ran away from home, and then all the obstacles that I've took outside, being away from home, I was house hopping basically until I got to where my older sister was. and my older sister was staying with her friend, and I called her and I was like, I'm trying to find somewhere to stay. Can I stay with you? She was like, yeah, like, come on, like, they don't mind, blah, blah, blah. So I went to stay with her, and that's when I met my baby father. So, yeah, when I met him, I was already 18. So when I left home, I was 17, but I was about to be 18 in like a month. So I was already 18 when I met him, and then we just started messing around. And 2 months later, I got pregnant. Now, I wasn't working. I couldn't go back to school because the schools were telling me that my parents still had to register me even though I was 18. I was thinking like my parents didn't have to do anything for me anymore because I was already legal, but that wasn't the case. During the midst of me being pregnant. Oh, no. Rewind. I'm getting confused. During the midst of me about to find out I was pregnant, I wanted to go back home. Like, this is around the time I wanted to go back home. I wanted to go back to church. I felt like I was doing wrong. I felt like I lost God, and I wanted to go back to church and do right by God and my parents. So I'm about to go back home, and I still didn't know I was pregnant or whatever, and I moved back home, and we're still together. We're still messing and all that. And I just like missed my period. This is when I'm already back home, and I missed my period for a whole month. I'm trying to figure out the dates. I feel like it was the whole month of February I missed, and then I found out in March. So my sister was over, the one that I ran away with. She came over one day, and I was like, so I'm about to go get a pregnancy test because I missed my period the whole month. And she was like, all right. So I walked to CVS, and I come back home, and I take the pregnancy test, and it was positive. And then I was like, yo, I'm pregnant, like, it's positive. And my sister's like, oh my gosh, Sephra, like, you're really pregnant, like, you really are pregnant. And we were just both like, what the fuck? And it wasn't a shock to me because me and my baby father wasn't pre boys. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, so okay, where was I? Yeah, I wasn't so shocked because me and my baby father, since we had met, wasn't using protection. We didn't care. We fell in love pretty quickly, and one of the times that we were together, one of those nights I whispered to him and I said, I want to have a baby. I want to have your baby. Like, we were young and dumb. Like, we were young, dumb, and in love. So yeah, it wasn't a shock to me. So yeah, so when I found out, I didn't tell my mom or anybody. That day I was supposed to go to my baby father's aunt's baby shower. So that day, that night I got ready and all that, and then my baby father picks me up in his car, and we go in the car, and then we go to the mall first because he goes to get a present for his aunt for the baby shower. So he goes in, and I decide to stay in the car. And while he goes inside, I take out the pregnancy test, and I took 2 of them, like, to be sure. And I take out both of the tests, and I put it next to, like, I put it in the middle, like, at the middle of the passenger seat and the driver's seat. And I leave it there. And then I just sit there and wait for him to get in the car. And then he gets in the car, and then he looks at it. And he looks at me, and he's like, "So you're pregnant?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant." And he was like, "Oh shit." And then, like, he kisses me and he smiles or whatever. And that was that. Like, it was like a dull moment, but I feel like he did have a lot on his mind. He just didn't express it. But anyway, so we get to the house, to the baby shower, and the whole night, like, we just staring at each other. Like, it's a whole party going on. He just found out he was pregnant. I just found out I was pregnant. And it wasn't anything dramatic or anything, but we just kept staring at each other because we just knew, you know? After that, like, I didn't tell my mom or whatever. And then, the weeks of me, you know, knowing that I'm pregnant, I start getting nauseous, like hella nauseous. And I started being a bitch, like the biggest bitch out of nowhere. And I'm not a mean person, and I'm never disrespectful to my parents, ever. And there would just be times where, like, my mom would call me and I'll be like, "What?" Or like little things that I would do to her, and I don't backtalk my parents or anything like that, but I was doing it, and it was weird. And she's like, "What's going on with you?" And one day when I was at my baby father's house, just chilling over there, my sister calls my mom, and I'm on the phone with her because I'm like, "Malaysia, like, I'm acting like a bitch to mommy. I think, like, this is the time we should tell her." And I wanted her to tell my mom with me. So I called, like, my sister is in New York at this time. And I called her to put my mom on 3-way. And I told her to tell my mom. And my sister was like, "Mom, like, we have something to tell you." And she starts by saying, "You know why, like, Sephra's acting like a bitch these days?" And I wanted her to say that too, so that she knows, like, I didn't change or anything. Like, I'm not this type of person. So she was like, yeah, I know she's acting like a bitch. What's up? She's like, "She's pregnant. She took a pregnancy test and it was positive." And my mom's like, "What? What? Oh my gosh." She's like, "Oh my gosh, we got to go to the doctor, blah, blah, blah." She wasn't like, she didn't say anything negative. She didn't say anything mean. She mainly just said, "We got to go to the doctor." So, I forget, like, when we went to the doctor after that phone call, but we did. And I go to the doctor, and I go to my pediatrician at this time, and my mom takes me, and yeah, they were like, "Yeah, so she's pregnant." And my mom's like, "Oh my gosh, Sephra." And that's literally about it. My mom was more excited. I think she was excited, but she was nervous to tell my dad. Everybody was nervous to tell my dad. So after that, we told my aunt, which is my dad's sister. And we got home from the doctor, and my mom calls my aunt and tells my aunt, she's like, "Oh my gosh, she's pregnant. Like, who's the guy?" Oh, no. She doesn't call my aunt. My aunt comes over. Yes, okay. My aunt comes over. She does call my aunt, but one day my aunt comes over so that we all could tell my dad. Now, we need a gang to tell my dad, okay? Because, like, he needs to be tamed. Like, he needs to be ready for this. Like, we were getting ready to tell my dad, because I knew this was gonna be so big to tell my dad. My dad is so strict, you guys. Like, my dad is Haitian, okay? So any of you Haitians know, you know. You know, okay? Because, So, mom comes over. She's like, all right, you ready to tell your dad? He's like, who's the guy? Let me see the guy. And I show my aunt the picture of my baby father. He's like, oh, he's cute. And then I'm like, okay, so, like, let's go tell my dad. So it's me, my sister, my mom, and my aunt. So we go inside the room because my dad is very sickly, so he's always in his room, you know, on the bed or whatever. And we're all standing there, right? I'm sitting on the couch. Like, he had a little couch in his room, and I'm sitting on the couch, and my sister's sitting next to me. My aunt and my mom is standing up by him, and the person that talks and says everything is my aunt, and that's my dad's sister. I don't know if I said that, but yeah. So she was like, we have something to tell you. And he was like, she was like, Suffer's pregnant. And then I forgot what my dad said. All I know is we start arguing, me and my dad. And at this time, I was back in the church. So in that church that I was in, trust me, you guys are going to know a lot about it later on. But in that church I was in, you couldn't marry or, well, obviously have kids. So you couldn't marry outside of the church. You couldn't really even have friends outside of the church because anything outside of the church wasn't law or whatever, or wasn't accepted. So he was so furious that I was pregnant by someone that was not in the church. And he was like, how you gonna be pregnant by a nigga in the world? That's what we used to call it, the world, everyone that wasn't in the church. So he was like, how are you gonna be pregnant with a nigga in the world? I was like, I was in the world. And I said that in like an attitude because I was getting mad. Like, it's kind of stupid. Like, I left. Like, I was gone. I had just came back home. I was gone for like a year. So, how can you tell me? No, not a year. Sorry, like 6 months. So it's like, how can you, it's obvious what happened. I went out in the world and I did the deed and I got pregnant. So I was just like over the stupid questions. And then as soon as I did that, as soon as I said I was in the world, with the little attitude, he got buck and he got up and he grabbed this lamp like he was about to hit me with it. And like my mom and my aunt had to push him away and they kicked us out the room. Yeah, because disrespect goes very, very, very high with my dad. Yeah, so disrespect goes really high and he gets amped up like very quickly. So after that, I stayed with my aunt and they were like, stay with your aunt until your dad calms down. So I stayed with my aunt for like 2-3 days. When I got back home, my dad sat me down and he was like, you know what? Every child is a blessing. God blessed you with that child. And I'm no one to be mad at something that God created and all that stuff. And he forgave, he said sorry about how he acted. And he said, I'll always be there for you. I love you. And I love your baby. Blah, blah, blah. So after that, I had a good pregnancy. My baby father moved in my house with my parents. And we had my room at this home at the time was the biggest room in the house, downstairs alone, while all the other rooms were upstairs. So it was a perfect room for my kid's dad to move in with me. My grandma bought me a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of clothes, all the stuff you need for a baby, a whole bunch of diapers, a crib, and then my baby father ended up being in the halfway house, so he had home visits, and he made it the day I was in labor. He was already at my house on a home visit, so he made it right on time. And yeah, he was there when I gave birth, and he was out when I had the baby. And I was already natural with my baby. You know, I didn't need anyone's help with my baby, like physically, not like financially. I did, but I didn't need any help with taking care of him at all, because, you know, I grew up taking care of kids. And that's that. After I had my baby, did I go to work? Where did I work? Yes. After I had my baby, I went to work. I didn't work my whole pregnancy, but when I had my baby, I did work. I started working at Giant. And yeah, so that is my pregnant at 18 story. I hope I said everything that consists of a pregnant at 18 story, or pregnant at whatever story. I hope I said everything, but that was my pregnant at 18 story. If you want to hear my pregnant at 19 story, I'll probably do a video on that. I got pregnant right after I had my first child. Because I don't learn, do I? Okay, so anyway, a little like advice or message or whatever. I had it easy, okay? But it is hard. And I'm talking to all you youngins and all you teenagers. It is hard having a baby. I had a friend at the time, and still to this day, friends tell me I make it look easy. And I thank God for that. I thank God that, you know, he made me the way I am, to where as though I'm not pulling my hair out over my kids or whatever. But it is hard, you guys. And I was also very blessed to have family to buy me all those things. I was very blessed to have family that was there for me. And I'm blessed to have a baby father that is in their life, and I don't have to tug and pull for him to see his kids or do anything for his kids. But other than that, it's very, very hard. So I would suggest you wait at least till you have like your own shit going on. You have your own car, at least your own car. Cause it is so hard without a car. I didn't have a car till now. Like, I bought my car almost last year, and my son is 5. And that is hard, let me tell you. So at least have a car. Just at least have a car. And I'll say have a car and an apartment. I'll say have a car and a place. What? At least have a car and a place. But I'll just say at least have a car, because having a kid young isn't the problem, at least for me, because I mean, you have the energy for your kids. You have the energy to take them out and play with them, and it's fun. And when they get older, you could still go out with them. You could still party with them. Like, when you get older and they get older, you'll still be young. And I think that's awesome. I love the fact that I'm young and I'll still be young when they get older, you know? I love that fact. So I don't think the problem is being young. I think it's the best times to have kids. That's when you're most fertile, you know? It's so hard when you don't have certain things and you don't have the finances, and you have to ask for help, and you're struggling because you don't have a car, and you're struggling to find a place for you and your child to sleep. Those are the things that is very hard, and those are the things that I would encourage you guys to wait to have before you have kids, and then just do it spontaneously like I did, because I'm freaking crazy. But thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll post another video very soon. Subscribe, like, share, tell all your friends, comment things you want me to record, comment things you want me to post. And thank you for watching. Love you guys. Bye.